And I would say, there's a couple things that I like. There's one thing that I really learned from reading some of the comment sections, and I'm gonna say this, not in a rude way, but I would have to say that from the comments that I've read, Catholics are actually they're more evidence-based compared to Protestants. And just look at the comments. Very rare that I see a comment from a Protestant that's like, "Hey, if you look at this verse, it says this, and we believe it means this. And then if you look at this verse, it shows this." The most I've seen from a Protestant comment is just a list of Bible verses, and that's it. No commentary with it. It's just a list of Bible verses. Where uh, much more, I'm not going to say Catholics are that much better in defending their faith. I'm just saying that I've seen more Catholics give Bible verses. I've seen more Catholics give commentary compared to Protestants who are more kind of, "How dare you, liar? You sound evil." All like it sounds very, very. It's very different from what I expected. And I would say that if there's anything that I've learned, and I would say this is probably the biggest thing that I've seen reading the comments on both the Protestant and Catholic side is I think there's a big misunderstanding from Protestants about purgatory. One of the biggest misunderstandings. Now, I'm Protestant, and if you look at my Rebel Pastor podcast episode number 10, you're going to see that in episode 10, I do talk about purgatory and I give you my take on it. So I'm not sitting there saying purgatory is the worst thing ever. There's no evidence whatsoever about purgatory. No, no. I look at the Bible and say, no, no, there's some evidence there. It's something, but I wouldn't agree that it's exactly what the Catholics say purgatory is, but there's something there that you could look into it and say, oh, there's something that's in the middle, right? And what I'm going to tell you guys is this. Probably the biggest misunderstanding that I've seen from reading the comment section, Protestants think that Catholics mean that purgatory is a second chance. But of course, that doesn't make any sense because we hear the God, we read the Bible, and Jesus is the only way. You don't get a second chance after you die, kind of thing, right? Everyone gets a chance. Now, here's the thing. Protestants, from a lot of them that I've read, they say that, oh, purgatory is wrong because there's no second chances after you die. And when I hear the Catholic explanation of it, Catholics are not saying it's a second chance. Catholics are saying that purgatory is for believers. It's not for non-believers. It's only for believers, and it's for purification. What does that mean? It doesn't mean that you didn't believe in Jesus and then you're purified and then you go to heaven. And now you believe it. It's not that. What the Catholics, from what I read, it seems like it's purification, meaning you are a believer. You got some sins that are unpaid for because you need to be perfect to go into heaven. So if there are some sins that are unpaid for, it's a stopover into purgatory to kind of be cleansed of those final sins or to pay for those sins and then move into heaven. It's not a second chance. And I think this is one of the probably the biggest misunderstanding that I've seen as a Protestant myself and reading the comment section, that Protestants are thinking it's a second chance, but it's not. It's more of it's a stopover for any true believer, and then they get purified and then they move into heaven. So it's not like a second chance. Oh, you didn't believe in Jesus, you go to purgatory, now you have a second chance. It's totally not about that either, right? So it's only believers that go to purgatory, and it's a time to be purified, right? It's the purification before going into heaven. Now, am I saying that I 100% believe what the Catholics say? No, I'm not saying that either, right? But it's for me, it's a much better understanding. So I did learn something from the conversation and the discussion that was made between the Catholics and the Protestants, even though some of it was quite crazy and rude. But I do see that there is value in discussion to understand the other side and not be like an anti-Catholic.